Because what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to teach on deliverance. Then we'll have a question and answer. If you also want to have time to teach it and minister to deliverance. Because you've turned to 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And we thank God for each and every one of you tonight. So I'm gonna really take my time on teaching on deliverance. I'm going to speak on multiple aspects of it. So there's going to be 3 or 4 messages on rejection alone.
Amen. Good.
Because I'm going to tell you, I don't want to rush through it. And these Wednesday night we're going to dedicate right now for deliverance. Not that we don't do it on Friday and Sunday, but I'm consecrating for sure Wednesday night right now for a different series here on that. So let's just pray that we're going to begin 2 Corinthians chapter 10. We just announced, proclaim that tonight we're gathered in that name is above every other name. We're gathered in the holy, righteous, pure, true, magnificent name of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. God, heal the sick, heal the brokenhearted, deliver the captive, God. Right here tonight, let your kingdom come, God. Let there be breathe the very breath of life upon your people, God. In the name of Jesus Christ. And all the saints of God said? Amen. All the saints of God said?
Amen.
All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'll just go quickly here. Verse 3, though we walk in the flesh, or we walk in this natural body, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal. In other words, they're not natural things. They're not airplanes, they're not bombs, machine guns. They're spiritual. Okay, so we have a flyer back there that has about 16 weapons of warfare. So faith is a weapon, prayer is a weapon, the Word of God is a weapon, deliverance is a real weapon.
Yes.
And it's an extremely important weapon because we're living in a season right now that's very important, and we need to know how to take authority, exercise the authority that God has given the believer over the demonic. Okay, so the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal, but they're mighty to God to the pulling down of strongholds. Now, you never need to be intimidated at having a stronghold within your life because there's a method. Wherever there's a problem, God has an answer. Okay, so it's this understanding and growing into those an understanding. Okay, so these weapons that God has given us are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imagination and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Jesus Christ. Okay, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23.
Yes.
And I always put this in there when I begin a series on deliverance. For the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. That word sanctify means blameless, to be made holy, to be consecrated, to be dedicated. To sanctify you means to be cleansed, to be purged, to be washed, to be prepared. To sanctify you wholly, and I pray that you're whole. And this is a very important part right here, that when people become a Christian, when you understand, if you can grasp this and understand this, it will really help you understand being a Christian, understand yourself, and how God will rearrange you, prepare you. Okay, it says, I pray that your spirit, your soul, and your body would be preserved blameless to the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, if God said that you can be preserved blameless, can we be preserved blameless?
Yes.
Okay, now look right up here. Now, one of us say, now, this is extremely important, that you understand the separation between spirit, soul, and body. When you understand that revelation, demons then will operate. The main place that they operate is in your mind, your will, your emotion, your heart, and your body, with different kinds of sicknesses. Sexual demons, it put curses of poverty upon you. If the devil can pretty well control what you think with your mind, choose with your will, feel in the realm of your emotions, and the Bible says out of your heart proceed evil thoughts. There's the realm. A lot of people that do not understand deliverance, they say, well, a Christian can't be possessed by a demon. The demons are not in your spirit, man. You have a spirit, the Spirit of God dwells in your human spirit. And so where the Spirit of God is in, then that's where the Spirit of God dwells. And the Spirit of God is not in our mind, and it's not in our will, it's not in our emotions. So there's the areas that Pastor Jen and I, that you add to those realms. Pastor Jen and I call these realms. Then you add to that the occultic realm. You add to that what we call the behavior realm, which would be controlling, jealousy, domination, different areas in there. That's basically. So what we do is if you went to a doctor, they take your symptoms. They're going to diagnose you. So that's basically what we do. Is we watch people's fruits. By the fruits, you shall know them. Okay, by the fruits, you should know them. We just kind of ask that the children sit with their birth parents, if they would please. Children sit with their birth parents. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 messages on a minimum of 3. And how rejection enters. That's my title tonight. How rejection enters. How does it get in? What's the doorways that it comes in? How rejection enters. Secondly, I'll go into, not tonight, but the results of the symptoms of rejection. How you know if there's rejection within your life. We're going to show you the fruits of rejection. Then thirdly, steps out of rejection. That may take 2 or 3 messages. Right. So what I'm going to do, so that I don't teach too long, so there'll be plenty of time for questions and for deliverance. I'm going to take my time going through the material rather than trying to ram too much in there. So I'm just going to go so far, so that and I ask that as a general rule that when we come to the question and answer period, you only ask 1 question. Sometimes I'll allow a follow-up. The reason for that is for those of you that one day you be teaching deliverance, there'll be someone that'll come in. Many times the devil, we used to do this, they would send someone in and they would make me, but Christian have a demon. And so it became a society doctrine. And here everybody else wants deliverance, so they want to argue theology. I don't have time for that. Because there's people here who want to be set free. So you, whenever you get this and you teach this, so basically we want you to be taught deliverance. We want you to receive deliverance. But the long-term goal is that you will learn how to do deliverance for other people. So my topic for the first few times is going to be deliverance. Rejection. So this is Overcoming Rejection by Frank Hammond. This is a extremely powerful book. Very, very powerful book. Overcoming Rejection by Frank Hammond. That is so revelatory. And then I haven't read this myself, but many people tell me it's called Destroying the Spirit of Rejection by John Eckhart. Amen. Destroying the Spirit of Rejection by John Eckhart. I haven't read that, but people recommend that to me. Okay, Luke chapter 4. And then we'll get into the basic teaching. I wanted to show you just a little bit in the scriptures here. There's just tons of scriptures on this, but I'm not going to go there for a long time. I want to define for you rejection tonight. I want to show you how rejection enters in so that you be given understanding. And I just ask that you hold any questions till the end of my message. Then at the end of the message, we'll go into a question and answer period. Okay, Luke chapter 4 and verse 18. Jesus speaking said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He has anointed me. He has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted." You're going to find many people, their hearts have been broken. They've been hurt, they've been wounded, they've been let down, they've been rejected, they've been abused. Okay, to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captive, and the recovering of the sight to the blind, and freedom to them that are bruised. Okay, I want you to just think of like a banana. And if you had a banana right here and I thump the banana, what happens is the inside of that banana gets bruised. Okay, so when you peel then, the peel off of the banana, when you get to the banana itself, then it's soft in there because there's some damage in there. So many times that's what happens, that's what rejection does. It's like you could have a wound within your body, but infection can get in that wound, and that infection, the inside of your body, can cause you much harm. That's what demons do. That's what rejection does. That's what different hurts and wounds does within us. Now I'm going to define rejection for you. Then I'm going to get into the doorways or the ways that rejection come in. And I'm going to take my time on it tonight and just kind of explain some of these things. So the first thing I want to do, I want to define rejection to you. It's the opposite, just the complete opposite of feeling accepted. It makes one feel unloved, or unwanted. Have you ever been in the middle of a crowd and felt totally alone?
Yes. Yes.
There's a,
Yes.
and understand that many times there are real feelings and then there's false feelings. And demons can give you wrong kind of feelings. Demons can lie to you. Demons can try to tempt you to come into rejection or anger or something. Someone may walk by you, they got 12 things to do and 9 minutes to do it in. They walk by you, but you hear a voice, they don't love me. You come to church, you hear a voice, they don't love me. You see 5 people, they're talking, and you hear a voice, they're talking about you. And see, the devil's trying to get you to meditate. They're not talking about you, they're talking about something totally different. But you hear a voice, we may hear a voice, and the demons, see, want to play us like Maestro plays a violin. Okay, so people will come to church, and they hear a voice. They don't love you. Look at those 2 people, they love each other, they don't love you. See what Satan trying to do? Isolate the person, make them withdraw, make them get angry, leave the church, get mad at God, get mad at the church, get mad at the preacher, get mad at you, get mad at everything, everyone except themselves. See that, and the devil's controlling them. And the controlling that's why I said we thought they kept it in the being Jesus Christ. The first time I read that and understood that, I threw the Bible, I said, you're crazy. Controlling your, I got hundreds every day, I got whacked out, I got hundreds of uncontrolled thoughts. Then I began to realize, read the word, it says in Ephesians 4:23, be renewed in the spirit of your mind. The word renewed means renovated. For God begins to get the sinking thing out, and get the light out, and then get the demons out, and get the Holy Spirit in there. So that brings a lot of change. So when you understand, if you understand this, the mind, God will deal with the mind, the will, the emotion, the heart, the sexual realm, the body, with different sicknesses, with curses of poverty. He'll deal with the occultic realm. He'll deal with what we call the behavior realm, which is anger, unforgiveness, bitterness, control, possessiveness, jealousy, that we call the behavior realm. We understand all those realms. Many people have, through the years, said they come to church, get 2 demons cast out, and they say, I'm great, I don't need more difference. And all these realms, with all these different struggles, and you see people very bound up, but they hear a voice. The voice says, you don't need it. Well, the demons speak in the first person. They'll say, I'm a demon talking to you. It says, speak to the first person. I. Your voice, I. It doesn't say you. I don't need deliverance. So put this in here. Your baby needs deliverance. But you don't need deliverance. But see, there are people that feel unloved, they feel unwanted, they feel unneeded, they feel like their life has no meaning, they feel like their life has no purpose, and it builds up a great anger within them, a deep resentment. What is wrong with me? And see, the devil's trying to turn that person against God, turn that person against the church, because God is the answer, and He operates through the believer. He'll operate through the church, which is the body of Christ. So what the Satan wants to do is separate people from the body of Christ, because God's going to use His own body. He used His own body. It's hard for me to use your body. I use my own body. Sound like there's a place people feel so unwanted, unneeded, they feel denied. And we'll get into this when you see this. Say what they feel denied. Well, they got it. I don't know. How come they have this and I don't have that? They feel repelled. They feel shunned. Make people feel neglected. They feel like they've been abused. They feel like they've been abandoned. I say a lot about that a little bit. They feel alone. I know what it's like to be in the middle of a crowd and feel just totally alone. I had, I'm not talking down here. I'm saying I had so much of this stuff. I was so whacked out. You feel, rejection makes people feel ignored. Feel avoided. Rejection makes people feel like they're disapproved. They feel refused, unaccepted. They feel discarded. They feel like they've been cast off. Rejection results from the denied love. And I'll say more about that a little bit. God has made us, we need love. We've been created to need love like a plant or flower needs soil, moisture, sunshine. We need love. And when that love is denied, then there's rejection, there's barrenness, there's deadness. There's a whole, what I would call a stronghold, a manifestation like a great big nest of demons that gather together. And as we go along in the series, I'll say more about that. But many times it comes as a result of love being denied. See, people can live in a mansion. People live in a mansion, they feel totally alone. There's moms and dads that give their children money, but never give them love. And then there's just the opposite. There's spend time. There's parents may not spend time with the child, and they won't, and there's no money to give. So then there's kind of double whack upon them in that place. Okay, so there's feelings like I feel like I don't belong. I feel left out. I feel like I'm on the outside looking in. I feel out of place. Okay, now I want to get into, and I'm going to take time upon this and develop this so that it's very important that we understand this. Okay, I'm going to get into the doorways, how rejection enters, the different doorways, the different methods, causes of rejection. One of the main causes or doorways that rejection comes is to the parent-child relationship. Through the parent-child relationship, there's a whole lot that goes into that. Okay, so that me in today's society, well, let me go back. In my high school class, there was, if I remember right, there was only one child in my whole class that their mom and dad went through divorce. And look at in that time, look how things have changed.
Yes.
That there's so much divorce, or let's say another thing. That and I wanna talk about some things that sometimes some of the things can be kind of hurtful, but we need to understand. Sometimes we need to identify the problem so we can bring the answer. Because when I first came in contact with this, I was like shocked and amazed. And as teaching when I first heard this mentioned, I never understood it before, and I really began to study this out. And through the years, God's helped me develop this different message. Such as, just say some different things here. Let's just say that there's a child and there's a mommy, but there's no daddy. And you go to school, now the kids got daddies, the other kids got mommies, and the other kids got daddies, but someone's right with no daddy. And how that negatively affects that child. Or there's in many cases there's no daddy and there's no mommy. If there's no mommy, there's no daddy, and just about every child that you see that's been adopted has a rejection. Yes. So there's something in that child's like, what's wrong with me? So anytime when mommy and daddy have a divorce, whatever the circumstances are, somehow many of the children then end up thinking, it's my fault. The child thinks, what's wrong with me? How come my daddy's not here? How come my mama's not here? What's wrong with me? And the child begins to take on rejection. So when mommy and daddy they go through a divorce, so let's just say one of the parents is in alcohol and drugs. And let's say one of the parents is on, and the other parent can't have excessive pressure, so they start medicating. They start medicating themselves with alcohol, they start medicating upon drugs. And then while they get high, they get drunk, then they have lovers come in, and the child in the house sees all that going on. So where's my daddy? How come my mama is drunk all the time? How come my mama's high? How come my mama got lovers going in and out of the house? And so and then they go to school and they see the other kids. Think of being a child and raising that environment right there, raising that environment. So there's a lack of money. There's unmet needs within that family. There are many kids that go to school, they only got 2 or 3 changes of clothes. So when they go to school, they only got 2 or 3 changes of clothes, and the other kids, children can be cruel.
Yes.
You know, that's why we do those little things. It can be cruel. I'll never forget a girl coming to us and saying, Bill, my shoes don't fit. I only got 1 pair of shoes, and my shoes don't fit. I don't know why I thought that. I thought, well, this girl's shoes are way too big for her. But it wasn't that her shoes were way too big for her. Her shoes were way too small for her. Her daddy was a crackhead, and mommy and daddy had, I think, 9 or 10 children, and there's no income. There's no electricity. There's no food. There's no gas. I took a bunch of food over to the house. He takes the food and takes it to the drug dealer. He trades it in. The mom comes home. There's no food. She didn't even know I'm there. She comes to church and goes, how's that food we brought over to you? She said, what food? He had to get to the drug dealer. Now let me just tell you so you understand where I'm coming from. That some of us, it's hard for us to comprehend something. But I'm going to give you a true example of something that we have experienced. Because I want to walk you through this, and I'm going to take my time so that anybody that comes in with any kind of hurt, wounds, devastation, rejection, whether there's different kind of abuse, sometimes the abuse is just from abandonment. My dad up in there. So this is an example that went to a certain house in a certain city, And when you go to a certain house in a certain city, the first thing you notice is that the grass is about waist high. Nobody's been mowing the grass. The second thing I would notice this, there's a whole bunch of poison ivy, poison oak.
Yeah.
All I would notice. I noticed that. Then you notice through all the tall grass, there's all kind of bags of trash in the yard, and dogs have gotten into them. You walk into the house. There's no, many times there's no electricity, there's no water, there's no gas, there's no food. You walk into the house, and the first thing you hit is the stench. The stench of, number one, the garbage. Number two, dirty diapers just laying open in the trash can. Number three, puppy poop. The stench hits you. Raising children in this environment, the next thing you notice is that all over the walls there's cockroaches crawling. They don't even wait till night, they just come out of one. They come right. They time throw you out of the house. You have to carry, you almost nail yourself down, they carry you out of the house. Cigarette smoke filling the place, and if you've got a pretty good nostril, you recognize they've been puffing on evil weed in there. You look real close upon the table and you see evil weed crumbs. And you look a little closer, you see some white powder on the kitchen table that had been spilled there. You look in the trash can, if you look beyond the dirty diapers and the other thing, you'll see the empty beer can in there. You'll notice big holes in the wall. And rats have shoots at the holes. I can't go through the hole. Rats, mice, Jerry Spriggs on the television set, the roof leaks, the smell of mold and mildew in the house, the children, the older children, when they get teenagers, got STDs, and the little bitty children got head lice. And go there and witness to them about the love of God, what God has for them, and they look me in the eye and say, "What? Leave all of this?
Wow. Seriously.
Leave all of this to come to church?" Have no concept of God. See, this is the deception. This is where Satan will take you. This is what Satan wants to bring you. And family curses. That a teenager comes, and talk to Pastor Jen and I, and with tears in her eyes, I say, "Pastor Bill, I believe my mommy's a sex addict. She has sex with everybody that comes in the house." We get phone calls. We've had phone calls. "Pastor Bill, please call my daddy on his cell phone, because he's going to leave mommy. Please call him, tell him not to leave mommy." Okay, the parent-child relationship, imagine being raised in some of that atmosphere. Shacked up, let's just say dad gone, mom shacked up with one man, and having sex with a whole bunch of other men. And dad gone, and mommy might be gone 3 days, 7 days, and the children left at home by themselves. And the rejection that can come in, the barrenness, what is wrong with me? How come my daddy doesn't love me? How come my mommy and my daddy's not here? What is wrong with me? And rejection enters. And then great anger can come in. You realize how you could go to prison, and how many people you can help in prison. How many people in prison because just anger? And they go to church and then they're told a Christian can't have a demon. But they need healing, they need deliverance, they need restoration.
Yes.
So people can think what they want to think about me, they can say what they want to say about me, they can do what they want to do. They won't be the first person to talk about me. If it's biblical, we're going to do it. We're going to cast out demons. Because this is the stuff we deal with.
Yes.
This is the stuff we deal with. Okay, so the parent-child relationship, what if mommy or daddy, let me give you another example. Mommy, there's no daddy in the house. Daddy's gone, and mommy is addicted to the gambling. Mommy goes to work, mommy gets a paycheck, mommy drives 100 miles an hour to a gambling casino, stays at the gambling casino until every penny's gone. Then come home the children, where there's no food, there's no gas, there's no electricity, there's no heat, no water. So then, see, what if what keeps a teenage daughter? She needs an identity, because if daddy's not pouring love into her, she'll be out in public, she'll be at school, she'll be somewhere, she'll be a dude.
Yes.
If all she gets is verbal abuse at home, from day to bed, talk down, there'll be a dude still you sweet thing. Sweet thing. I've seen many godly women. Many godly women. Now you may not think godly women in a marriage, and the man be mean as a junkyard dog, speak words of death, and the woman lived for God many years. The only way she can survive, keep her head above water, is coming to the house of God, her relationship with God. Goes all she hears words of death, lies, accusations, death, you're horrible, you're wicked, all that thing, accusation, mean. And as the years go by, sometimes the years turn to decades. She goes to work, and all she hears at home is words of death. She goes to the job, and there's a man.
That's true.
Right.
That's very
speaking
true.
sweet nothings.
Yes.
So real.
Yes.
The girl loves God. The woman wants to live for God. But as the weeks turn to months, the months turn to years, and the years begin to turn to decades,
Yes.
one day the devil creates a great big storm at home. She gets really yelled, really verbally abused, and she goes up, but the last she wants to do is sin against her God. There's times, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I believe in that case, that guy has part of her sin.
Amen.
I believe that's part of responsibility. She still makes the wrong choice. Doesn't have to make that choice. But you get some of the most demonized people that I've ever been around is someone that's in a relationship and they get verbally abused all the time. They get beat down. And then what happens is so many words of death get spoken into them, and then that spirit and the abusive one gets in the other one, and now they're standing toe to toe, yelling and screaming and cursing each other out.
Yeah, right.
And see, so I'm saying that there are children raising, that's how they saw either mommy or daddy, or daddy and his lovers, or mommy and her lovers. And raising that atmosphere, the pain, the memories. There's in the parent-child relationship, if mommy or daddy doesn't have to be into alcohol and drugs. Mommy or daddy can be a workaholic and gone all the time. So now the children, the same thing can happen. Well, there's no love, there's no communication in the household. So they're gone for whatever reason or another. So the parent-child relationship, there's so many things that go into that are so important. That has a domino effect on people. And see, people raised in that environment, to them that's normal, but that's not normal. That's abnormal. But to many people, the abnormal is the normal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, we are extremely influenced by the environment that we're raised in. And so if we're raised in an environment of verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, bullets flying, we've dealt with multiple people that the teenager saw either mommy or daddy shoot their mate to death right in front of them. Right in front of them in the living room. Shot mommy or daddy. Mommy or daddy shot mommy or daddy right in front of them. Yes. And they come to the house of God and they go like, you know, why does this happen to me? Now, I'm going to put in here at this time, massive unmet needs. Massive unmet needs that whether that be mental, whether that be emotional, whether that be physical, whether that be spiritual, that man's basic needs is love, acceptance, safety, identity. You're my son, you're my daughter. I love you. I love you. I would love to be with you. Communication, recognition, you are somebody. You're my son, you're my daughter. I'll die for you, I'll protect you, I'll provide for you. I joke, now, let me tell you this, it bothers me a lot of times. You see professional sports players making millions and millions. Some of these people are making $20 million a year. And then they talk about how rough they have it.
Yeah.
They have rough decisions. And I'm thinking, what about a single parent, 3 to 5 children, no income, no man in the household, a single parent with 3 to 5 children, and here this guy's making $20 million a year, talking about, well, he has pressure. See, it's just some things. It's just we really need alignment. We really need to come in alignment with the will of God. If there's no love, there's no communication. If the child at home doesn't feel safe, doesn't feel provided for, protected, that you will defend them. So if those things are not there, there's no recognition, there's no identity, there's no provision, there's no food, there's no clothes. Imagine going. It was hard for me because both of my parents were very poor, and they came to the great, and that can store up such anger, and that's why many of them they get into breaking the law. They get into alcohol, they get into drugs, they get into immorality. How many girls that we've talked to through the years, 16 years old, and they think there's something wrong with them, they don't have a baby yet. That's their environment that they're raised in. 16 years old. Well, I better start having kids. Not even married. 16 years old, that's the environment. See, so the church has the answer. God has the answer.
Amen.
And the church needs to bring the answer.
Amen.
Now, we're just identifying the problem. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring people through any hurts, any wounds. And so some of these things may not really be, so to speak, your cup of tea. Maybe that hasn't happened to you. But God's going to teach you how to help other people.
Amen.
He's going to teach you how to help other people. And these books that are available, we're going to go through topic after topic. We'll do this on Wednesday night. Long people come. Long people want. You demonstrate. And I never listen. I do not listen to what people say with their mouth. I love deliverance. Oh, I can't wait for deliverance. So then you say, we're going to have deliverance, but you don't see them. Then they come back to the church the next year, oh, my God, I love deliverance. Then we're going to have another deliverance service, then you don't see them for deliverance. I never listen to what people say with their mouth. I listen to what they say with their heart. It's the next thing. Just imagine going to a home and the parents are not there. There's no food, there's no electricity, there's no water, there's no gas. And then the horrible things that can happen, when the government begins to take control of the children, things go from bad to worse. Okay, the next thing I talked about just a little bit, divorce. Many times when there's divorce, the children, the message to the children, here's what the child thinks. The child thinks, how come my daddy's not here? How come my mom is not here? How come this happened to my family? How come this can happen? And rejection can come in. That's a doorway that comes in. And then, whenever there's divorce, especially when there's divorce and remarriage, and there's children involved, you many times don't have to go to Afghanistan or Iraq to find war. Just go home. And that can be some very hurt. There can be some very nasty things happen. Now, what we need to understand, that has a domino effect. And all those effects, we call it cause and effect. If some strong guy came in here and every time he got around you, he slapped you about 5 times, that's the cause. Now the effect would be you're going to stay away from that person. If he jacks your jaw every time you run, you're going to stay away. Big strong man, and he jacks your jaw every time, you're going to begin to avoid. Cause and effect. Well, we need to understand, children watch every move that mommy and daddy make.
Yes.
Do you understand that children come in here that watch every move we make?
Yes.
One of the greatest sources of rejection and young people, children and teenagers rejecting God because they see how mommy or daddy are both really are at home.
Right.
Okay, so it's not how the front we put up in here. When they hear, if the kids hear you yelling, screaming, tearing things up, tearing holes in the wall, yelling, screaming, cursing, controlling, manipulating, dominating, controlling, jealousy. That's what they remember. See, by the fruits. So we can come to church and put a real big, carry a nice big Bible. Tell people to read the Bible, but not obey any of them. So the meanest people upon the face of the earth read the Bible. Some of the meanest people upon the face of the earth come to church, and some of the meanest people upon the face of the earth talk in tongues. And see, if you don't admit that, you're going to constantly get deceived. Because you need it. I learned this as a brand new Christian because of my background. I learned as a brand new Christian as a single man, I learned this: don't switch, don't touch. It's like playing baseball now, don't live it. Don't switch, don't touch. My little mind gets to thinking.
Yeah.
Don't go down that road. I'm not going there again. Been there, done that, and I'm not doing that again.
Right.
So I learned, here's a way to protect myself.
Yeah.
So that's how if you keep your clothes on, you can save yourself a whole lot of trouble.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about the doorways, how rejection enters, the death of a parent. I think right now of a guy that I knew by heathen days. He was nice, he was fun, he was funny. You know, we could party together, get along real well. But if the topic of God came up, we go to a rage. And I'm a heathen at that time. But what I found out was that when he was young, he was a teenager, both his mommy and daddy passed away. And they were raised in a denomination. They drank, drug, and fornicated, but they didn't eat meat on Friday, so they thought they were going to heaven. So he got mad at God.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, he hated God.
Yes.
And when I got saved, I would witness to him. I mean, rage would just come up to his face. And you'll see people, they'll change their face. This demon comes up, and their whole face would just get. And there's many people that hate God. There's a demon that hates God. Satan hates love, and God is love. And Satan doesn't want love to be in your life. Doesn't want you to feel love. Doesn't want you to give love. Doesn't want you to give or receive love. Doesn't want you to experience love. Didn't want you to be able to release the love of God to other people. So the death of a parent, how could that happen to me? So there's something that's trying again. Then the devil will try to use it to get them angry at God. They feel rejected. A workaholic parent. We've already kind of talked about that. If mommy or daddy's gone all the time, that can have a domino effect upon the child. Well, sometimes it's hard to find the right balance. Let's just say daddy's gone. And many times mommy doesn't have a college education. She may not have a high school education. She may not have any job skills. She's got 3 or 4 children and no man in the house. And there's no child support coming. That's very difficult. So now mommy may be working 3 jobs trying to make meet a government assistance. So there's some hard situations. What we need to understand that some of these things have a very strong effect on people. So the next one is an unwanted pregnancy. Let's just say some girls 16 never drank before, drank 2 or 3 beers, get drunk. Next thing you know, start smooching, get hot, start having sex, and next thing you know, she finds out she's pregnant. Here she is, 16 years old, hardly knows the boy she had sex with. Now she shows up pregnant. So in her, there's a message. I don't want to be pregnant. With no planned pregnancy, God has a right to do this. No premarital sex. The male and female fall in love with each other. There's a long courtship, and it's holy, and the marriage is so beautiful, it's just magnificent that I don't think the sun out is like glory, just so glorious, just so beautiful that godly marriage is. That here she is, 16 years old, and planning her life, and shows up pregnant, and everything within her. The last thing I want is to be pregnant. I don't want to. So then that baby in the womb could be raised up. Inside spends 9 months in there. Spend 9 months in there being unwanted. And I'm saying that baby in the womb has feelings.
Yes.
And read when Mary, the mother of Jesus, walked into the room when Elizabeth was pregnant. John the Baptist said, "Womb leaped for joy," because heard the voice of Mary, the mother of Jesus, when Mary was pregnant with Jesus, and there's John the Baptist in the womb of Elizabeth. John the Baptist leaped for joy when they heard the voice of Mary. Baby in the womb has feelings. Okay, we've had women be here, come here, and they're married and get pregnant, and the baby's in the mommy's womb for 9 months, and the baby knows my voice.
Yeah.
Because the baby heard me preach for 9 months.
Yeah.
That's true.
So the baby looks at me like, oh, that's what that guy looks like. They listened to you for a while.
Yeah, I believe it.
But to be an unwanted pregnancy, that everybody, that here's a 16-year-old girl, goes home with mommy and daddy, says, "Mom and Daddy, a little bit of news for you." And what do they say? Well, that's not bad news, that's not exactly what they want to hear. So then people that are around are speaking, So then the baby comes out of the womb already feeling rejected.
Yes.
And what I'm saying, when that person becomes a teenager or an adult, there's something in them, and they may not understand. There were things in me, there was rejection in me, it was one of the strongest things in me. But when I first heard rejection taught, I had no concept. I go like, oh my God, there was never a second in my whole life that I never felt loved and wanted and needed by my mom and my dad.
Wow.
But my rejection came through peer pressure. So that's the next one we're to is peer pressure. And there'll be different people that you'll be around.
Yes.
They may not like the way you dress. They may not like the color of your skin. They don't like what side of the tracks you came from. There's something about you they may not like, and they mock you. They make fun of you. If you only got 2 pair of clothes, you only got 1 pair of shoes. They may mock you. They may ridicule you. They'll find something wrong about you. Peer pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of my peer pressure came because I really worked hard really in sports. And I was 7 when I graduated from high school. I was 7 inches shorter than what I am right now, and I started on the basketball team. And there were some guys that were well over 6 foot, and they were very angry at me.
Amen.
And I got persecution from that, but there's a whole lot of people got a whole lot worse than what I ever had to deal with. Yeah. Okay, then the next, let's just say alcoholic parent. We can talk about that. All right. That here's the message. If child realizes, why would my mom, and they come to this, they watch for years and they realize, mommy or daddy would rather be drunk than spend time with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put in drugs. Mommy or dad would rather be high. Mommy and dad would rather be the honky tonk. They'd rather be the gamble casino than to be with me. That's where they are all the time. That's where they spend their time. It can even be sport. It can be something like that. And the message sent to the child is, you know, in other words, they feel like unmet needs. Okay, so the next thing can be kind of ugly, and that is sexual abuse. That the devastation, right over here, if you look, right in pretty much in the middle right there, there's 2 books, white books up there. One's called Hush, and the other called Breathe.
Yeah, those are good.
And the word Hush, those are by a girl that was sexually abused, I think by her stepdad. And we always have those available for someone that's been sexually abused, so that you need to tell the authorities, you know, that you've been, who's sexually abusing you, tell the authorities. And so that's what Hush, the first book is Hush, where her abuser would say, shh, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. Then the second one, Breathe, was when she was being abused, that she wouldn't breathe. And it's like, and alters could come in that time. Also, what we call, they call multiple personality disorders. Alters are formed any time, because that experience can be so painful that they form an alter, and the alter takes all the pain. So I know that can be quite complicated, but we minister to the people in that area. But I have heard girls scream when the anointing got manifested, or this came to the surface, and they would scream at the top of their lungs, I hate him, I hate him. And so they had that buried. Come to church, love for God, very faithful to the house of God, read the Bible, pray. They had this buried way down in there. I hate it when it comes to the surface. But we've had girls go into anger. When that demon will come up, they go into anger fits and take 3 or 4 of us, hold them down. Young girl, because of the anger, the rage that's buried down in there. And see, sometimes whenever that manifests, that comes up, that's buried within it, that's in them, that's so demonic. Okay, so that's what God wants to do. That's why we're here, to heal and deliver. We're not here to just talk about the problem. God has given us the answer.
Amen.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to minister freedom to the captive. So I'm going to just, tonight, all I'm going to talk about is the doorways that come in. And then the next time we come together, I'm going to talk about the symptoms of rejection, how to know if you're suffering from rejection. Okay, so I think that they're saying now 6 out of 10 girls, by the time they're 18, have been sexually abused, and 4 out of 10 boys have been sexually abused by the time they get to 18. That's insane. See, that's because of the pornography. So much pornography has gone from bad to worse. That molestation, incest, rape, and in many cases all the above. So God has raised up like Joyce Meyer, that I've heard her say on television that her dad probably raped her 200 times. And she ended up taking care of her own birth dad. At the end of his life, she took care of him. And she's a real voice. And now she has like a spiritual daughter, and her spiritual daughter is Christine Kane. And Christine Kane, I think, was sexually abused one way or another for something like 12 years. So you may want to check into them. We used to have one or two books over there by Christine Kane. But Joyce Meyer, her dad would actually have sex with her probably about 200 times. What that does, that my birth dad, imagine being a young girl and birth dad or stepdad having sex, full-fledged sex with a young child, and having that happen 200 times over a whole bunch of years. I think Christine Kane was sexually abused for something like 12 years. Now what we're talking about is the damage that can cause. So here's what we try to say here at church. If someone walks in here and that background is in their life, what we don't want to do, we don't want to just tell them, all you need to do is become a Christian, you live happily ever after. That's not necessarily so. There's damage in there, there's memories, there needs to be healing of the memories. Those experiences, many times altars have been formed. And the altars is like something that's formed within them, it's part of their personality, and all the pain goes into the altar, and the altar becomes separate, and many times that altar then can also become demonized, and the altar then becomes a protector. I will see women come in the door that I've never seen before, and many times I'll know by the spirit they got a man-hating spirit or a pastor-hating spirit. Either they've been hurt in a church, or someone in authority abused them, or daddy. And so many times there's a man-hating spirit, many times there's a woman-hating spirit. It's not uncommon to find a young person who loves their mommy but has hate in their mommy, for their mommy. They love their daddy, but there's hate in their heart for their daddy. And so that's what we call mixture. So what God wants to do is set you free from the internal warfare, because there's something in you that you love your mommy, you love your daddy, but there's a part of you that's so hurt, so wounded, so damaged, and then if there's a hurt that comes in there, the devil will be sure to put some fuel upon that fire. So there's a little bit of anger in there. The devil will try to take the anger into pure, outright hatred. And there's been many, male and female, both ways, that they've been in an abusive marriage or abusive relationship, and one day they just get sick and tired of it, and they pull out a gun and blow their head off. They either commit suicide or they blow the head off of the person that's been abusing them. And see, what I'm saying here is there's another way to
Praise God.
there's another way to work at that. I got to keep this moving because I want to have some time here. So, cruel comments, people just speaking words of death. Some people have a certain kind of demon. They can say something to you, and something demonic gets imparted to you.
Yes.
There's people. There's verbal abuse.
Oh, yes.
There's physical abuse, and there's sexual abuse. And there's people that they just give off the wall comments. And something. All you know is that you had victory. This person says something, and next thing you know, you're not ready to trick the parakeet. You're ready to go to the zoo, find you an elephant.
That's
Serious. Now, what I'm saying is, if we don't deal with these things, if we got roots of bitterness down there, it's going to hinder us walking in the supernatural.
Sure did.
People will not experience the presence of God. See, here's Satan's goal: to stop you from giving and receiving love. As long as we come to church, the devil could care less if we come to church. As long as we never get to the place we feel love, and we're so full of love, we can give love. If we come, but we're bored, we're mean as a junkyard dog. I think the devil loves it when we come to church and we go home mean.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Sure.
I'm serious. I believe that. Another thing that rejection, how rejection can enter. there can be something about your body you don't like. Have you ever seen these beautiful women upon television, and they can be like on the front of a magazine, and all they can think about, they hate their ears, or they hate their eyebrows. They're like beautiful. It's like, what? On a 10-point basis, they're they're about a 50, and all they can think is, I don't like my eyelashes. I don't like my ears, my nose, my teeth. And the truth is, everybody got something. Everybody got something. But see, the devil wants us to focus on one thing. One thing. Okay, different trauma. Trauma can happen in people's lives. The sexual abuse and divorce and death in the family. Many times, and then rejection come in, no home. There's no home to go to. Many young people that they bounce from one house to another house, aunt house, uncle house, cousin house, dog house, all kind of places. Financial strain. There's never enough money that so broke you can't pay attention. Abandonment issues. Drug addict parent are this kind of like a witchcraft. The witchcraft will operate manipulation, intimidation, which leads to domination. Okay, so something demonic will operate through someone to manipulate you.
Yes.
And if you begin to question it, then they begin to use intimidation.
Yes.
Because they want to bring you to domination.
Yep.
Right.
Which will bring you to that's why God is so wise. Premarital sex causes jealousy in a marriage.
Yes.
Because when you're a teenager sneaking around, you're sneaking behind mom and dad's back.
Yeah.
And you come home and mommy or daddy said, have a good time. Oh, if you only knew. Well, what'd you do? Well, but what happens is when you're in a marriage, now you're sneaking around on each other. Yeah, one one See, you think. So basically, here's what happens. And many men hear this voice. Men hear this voice something like, she had sex with you before, got married. Now
Right.
the man becomes controlling. He hears a voice. So now, she could be on the way to the bathroom and someone say hi to her, and she could be accused of. See, jealousy is the work of the flesh.
Yes.
So God wants to set us free from jealousy.
Praise God.
Amen.
Amen.
See, and so that's how it gets to. That's why God says, don't have premarital sex. If you're courting with someone, and if you even start to think about they slap your face, there's hope. If she'll slap your face when you're single, she'll slap someone else's face with if you're treating her right. Come on.
Amen. Right.
Okay, so I've seen people. I can tell you of a daddy. He had this attractive teenage daughter. We knew this family. This daddy would accuse his teenage daughter. This guy was a drunk, fall down drunk. Every time he saw his daughter, accused of them being nothing but a slut, a whore, a hoe. The girl was a virgin.
Wow.
And one day, I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I'm just going to talk plain. We're at this lake one time. She says, so we're drinking beer, and so she says, well, every time I go home, that's all I get. I get accused of. I might as well start doing it.
Wow.
So she could, there's 3 or 4 of them. Which one of you want to take my virginity on the muddy bank? I'll never forget. On the muddy bank, gives up her virginity because her drunken daddy is accusing her of being nothing but a slut, a whore, a hoe. See, because his mind's filthy.
Yes.
People got filthy minds to accuse everybody else.
Yes.
Because they think everybody's thinking like them.
Yes.
But everybody's not thinking like them.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
preach it better.
Yes. Amen. Amen. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, I got to keep this moving. Gross immorality. You can rejection come in. You feel so bad about yourself. Feel such a sense of worthlessness. Relationship refuse. Someone can break up with you and oh my God, I've seen people that either been in marriage or been in a relationship. I'm thinking right now of someone that was in. This lady was in 2 marriages, and both of her husbands had affairs on her. So she's in marriage number 3. And day after day, week after week after week, month after month, she followed her husband from room to room. I know you're having adultery. I know you're having an affair. And all day long, every day she's accusing him of having an affair. So one day he just go get